And now, time to talk sports matters on CEMTV. Stay with us.
Sensational, absolutely sensational, sensational, The All Blacks press forward with a driving run. White 5 for 3, it's good. A huge shot. The puck drops in this gold medal game.
Oh, interesting times, you guys. Rory McIlroy maintained a share of the lead amid a competitive Genesis Scottish Open field, with the world number 2 heading into the weekend teed on 9 under with Jordan Smith and Tom Kim. And in football, Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu has selected 25 players for the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. And of course, just so you know, the Pharaohs of Egypt are also in the news. They've moved ahead of the Super Eagles of Nigeria in the latest FIFA World Rankings. And Thomas Tuchel, going into England's game against Norway tonight, has claimed that the Three Lions have not been offered an explanation as to why defender Gerald Quanta was handed a 2-game suspension following his red card against Mexico. England and Norway meet in a high-stakes quarter-final with a place in the semi-finals on the line. The winner will face either Argentina or Switzerland in the next one. Of course, Argentina and Switzerland will meet in a high-stakes FIFA World Cup quarter-final with a place in the last 4 also at stake. So, with that, I say welcome to Sports 360 right here on SEM Television. I'm that name, the voice you trust and that you probably need. They call me Rex Patrick the Locker, that homeboy that's never at home. I look around 247-365. I'm your host and guide. Alright, so today I'm not alone. Interestingly, I've got Smart Orubo right here with me this morning. It's a great time, Smart. Really good to have you right here on Sports 360.
Thank you very much. It's nice doing this with you.
Okay, so you guys, Smart, there's a story. Maybe that story is for another day of myself and Smart, right? when it comes to sports, right? So there's that story is for another day. But he's an Arsenal fan, just so you know. Let's put it out there. First off, he loves Arsenal a lot. He's got a thing for Arsenal. So he's one of those that's whenever anything. See, nothing is ever wrong about Arsenal. But it's a good thing. He's a lifelong Arsenal fan, and it's really nice to have him right here on Sports 360. Okay, now let's start off talking golf, where Rory McIlroy maintained a share of the lead amid a competitive Genesis Scottish Open field, with the world number 2 heading into the weekend tied on 9 under with Jordan Smith and Tom Kim. But Scottish Shufflers tournament is already over after the world number 1 provided the shock of the day by missing the cut for the first time since August 2022, ending a run of 78 successive weekend tournament appearances. Shuffler shot 2 over to finish at level and miss out by 2 strokes, but McIlroy remains right in the mix for victory at the Renaissance Club ahead of next week's Open Championship at Royal Birkdale. One of 5 players to share the lead at the end of Thursday's play, thanks to an opening round of 65. The Northern Irishman stayed in the co-lead on Friday, thanks to a second round 66. McIlroy was out in 31 for the second day running, this time courtesy of 4 birdies before coming back in level par 35 after a bogey at the par 4 13th was immediately cancelled by a birdie on the 14th. From there now, we move on to football, where on the home front, the 2026 Nigeria Women Football League Championship is set to begin with 2 Group A matches at the UJ Sports Stadium in Calabar. Of course, we saw the NWFL Premier League here. Of course, it was quite a good outing, I tell you, for the most part. But then we get to see Pelican Stars, Ikokuma Queens, Moje Queens, and Gallant Queens, I beg your pardon, competing in Group B of that very championship. And of course, for in Group C, we'll get to see Rangers women in action, Unification Queens, Fortress Ladies, and Wasbach International. The matches mark the start of the race for promotion in the Nigeria Women Football League for 2026-2027. The EJ Eshwene Sports Stadium in Calabar will host all Group A fixtures for the opening phase of the championship. The 2026 championship will feature, clubs from across the country competing for promotion slots. From the NWFL now, let's move on to another story making the rounds on the home front. It's got to do with Kogi United. And guess what? They've announced the end of season break for players and officials of the club. The statement was issued after Kogi United's management. They had a meeting, the management meeting in Lokoja. According to the statement, the players could be recalled from the break anytime. The break period is to allow the team to rest, recover and reflect after a demanding season. Kogi United missed out on promotion to the Nigerian National League. Of course, Mighty Jets feeders, Junior Dumboram FC, DMD FC, and Neurospark have all gained promotions to the Nigerian National League from the Northern NLO playoff. In another development, Doma United technical advisor Ayodeji Ayeni believes that with hard work, the team will be ready for the 2026-2027 Nigeria Premier Football League season. Ayeni said his team is focused on achieving success in the new campaign. Recall that Ayeni was appointed to lead the Savannah Tigers back in June 2026. Ayeni also expressed satisfaction with their togetherness, at the side. The 2026-2027 Nigeria Premier Football League season will commence in August. And so we're looking forward to what all of these teams have got in store going into the new campaign. Of course, now let's tell you that, interestingly, another story making the rounds at this material time has got to do with Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugo. Of course, he selected 25 players for the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Captain Rashida Ajibade, Asisat Oshoala, reliable goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie, and centre-back Osinachi Ohale are some of the regulars, in the squad. The Super Falcons will be targeting a record-extending 11th title in Morocco. The West Africans are drawn in Group C with Malawi, Zambia, and of course the Pharaohs of Egypt. They'll converge in Morocco next week to begin final preparations for the competition. The Super Falcons will face the Scorchers of Malawi in their opening fixture at the Al Madina Stadium, Rabat, on Thursday, July the 28th, 2026. Of course, let's look at the list in full. The Super Falcons, squad in full going into the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. In the goalkeeping departments, we got Chiamaka Nadozie, who plays for Brighton Ladies. That's the Seagulls, Brighton and Hove Albion Ladies in England. Comfort Rabo is in the mix for this one. She plays for Portsmouth Ladies in England. Fatima Oloko of Abia Angels is also in the mix for this very one. I think she kept the most clean sheets in the just concluded 2025-2026 Nigeria Women Football League season. Alright, so now for the defenders, we got Osinachi Ohale, who plays for Pachuca Tuzas of Mexico. Michelle Alozie is also right in the mix. She plays for Olivia Wynn in the USA. We also got Shukurat Oladipo, who plays for AS Roma Ladies in Italy. Interestingly, Rofiat Imoro is in the mix. She plays for London City Lionesses of England. And Glory Ogbonna is also right here. She plays for FC Kairat Gat in Israel. Oluwatosin Dimehin plays for Galatasaray Ladies. Galatasaray Sportive in Turkey. And of course, we got Sikiratu Isa, who plays for Benot Netanya of Israel. Christy Uchebe is also involved with this very one. She plays for SL Benfica of Portugal. So they got a really good squad, going into this very event, and they're looking to really make it count when the event starts proper. Now let's look at the midfield, where Rashid Ajibade is in the mix. She plays for Paris Saint-Germain in France. Halimatu Ainde plays for BK Harken in Sweden. Deborah Abiodun plays for Washington Spirits in the US of A. Tony Payne plays for the Toffees ladies. That's Everton ladies in England. Jennifer Echigini plays for Paris Saint-Germain in France. The forwards are Cicero Shuala, who plays for Al Hilal of Saudi Arabia. Gift Monday of Washington Spirit in the USA. Esther Okoronkwo plays for AFC Toronto in Canada. Joy Omewa plays for BK Harken of Sweden. Francesca Odega plays for Al Ittihad ladies. And of course, that's in the Saudi Arabia. And Folashade Ijamorusi plays for Liaoning Shenyang in China. And Omo Rinshola Babajide plays for AS Roma ladies. Chinwendu Ihezuo plays for Pachuca Tuzas of Mexico. Uchenna Kanu plays for Cruz Azul Femenil in Mexico. So they're looking forward to making it a record-extending 11th Africa Women's Cup of Nations title in Morocco. Of course, the team won the previous edition in grand style, coming from 2 goals down in the final against Morocco, to nick that one 3-2 and eventually lift a 10th Africa Women Cup of Nations title and go into this one on the right foot. From there now, let's turn our focus to the Super Eagles camp, where not much of good news, but then for the Pharaohs of Egypt, it's some good news. But then the Super Eagles are in the news, and that's because the Pharaohs of Egypt have moved ahead of Nigeria in the latest FIFA World Rankings. Of course, Hassan Hossan's side remarkably, did well at the ongoing FIFA World Cup. The performances at the World Cup has been absolutely topped, propelling them above the Super Eagles in the men's ranking. Before the start of the global football fiesta, the Super Eagles were ranked the third best team in Africa, behind the Atlas Lions of Morocco and the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Egypt now ranked 24th in the world. They happen to be the 24th best team in the world currently. They've moved to third in Africa, with the Super Eagles dropping to 4th. The Super Eagles, however, retain the 26th position in the world. The Desert Foxes of Algeria are the 5th ranked team on the continent of Africa. Interesting time. So, Smart, it's not really surprising to have this coming at this material time. Egypt moving ahead of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Before now, the Eagles were ranked third best team in Africa, behind the Atlas Lions of Morocco and the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Egypt are now ranked 24th in the world, and are third in Africa. It's not really surprising, because the Egyptians have been absolutely top so far at the FIFA World Cup. Recall the round of 16, they faced Argentina, right? Yeah. It was a cagey affair. They were 2 goals up at some point in time, threw away a 2-goal lead, and eventually got knocked out at the end of it all. But then it's a fair representation of what has happened in recent time, the most recent events.
I think that is what happened when you don't partake in tournaments like this.
Yeah.
If Super Eagles were to be amongst the competing teams at the World Cup, I think our rankings would have been better than what it is. And Egypt coming top of Super Eagles tells you our competitive spirit has dropped.
Okay, interesting. Okay, now let's talk about a Super Eagles player. This one is Benjamin Frederick, because the Super Eagles defender has been promoted to Brentford's first team squad for the 2026-2027 Premier League season. Of course, it was in outstanding form. We saw him at the World Cup qualifiers, and of course, Frederick has also signed a new 4-year contract with the Bees. Talking about Brentford with a club option for a further year. The 21-year-old initially joined the Bees, that's Brentford B, on loan from Simuben Football Academy in August 2023. He was named on the bench for 2 Premier League matches and 2 FA Cup ties before Brentford made the move permanent in April 2024. Frederick spent last season on loan at Belgian Pro League outfit Denda EH. The versatile centre-back was, however, sidelined for a lengthy spell after is after sustaining an injury in Nigeria's 2026 FIFA World Cup African qualifiers against Democratic Republic of Congo, and that was last November. And now let's look at the gossip column still in here, where still talking transfers. Manchester United have pulled the plug on the proposed move for Atalanta midfielder Ederson. Of course, the Premier League side has taken the decision after fresh injury concerns prompted them to arrange a more thorough medical examination this week. Doubts have emerged over Ederson's recent meniscus injury and the possibility of longer-term knee issues. United will now pursue alternative midfield targets. This is sad news for Ederson, the player himself, and Manchester United, who were looking to have the players, the player in the squad, beef up the squad going into the 2026-2027 campaign. He's a quality player who plays for Atalanta, a very good midfielder. They need that creativity in the midfield. They need that energy. But, Ederson, oh, come on. Really sad at this point in time. They have to turn their eyes elsewhere. That's Manchester United.
I think already they are doing their signings for the season is actually encouraging, and maybe they will still see how they can get his pen to paper. Well,
eventually, with all of these injury concerns, saying, oh, they are not sure of his his fitness level. I beg your pardon, not sure of his fitness level and all of that. So, isn't it worrisome? Will United really come good under Michael Carrick? Like, looking at what they did towards the end of last season, eventually qualifying for the UEFA Champions League. Do you think Carrick has still got enough in the tank to deliver? Will they come good?
Well, we can't just give him that credit now, because actually Man U was not playing much. They were not in all competitions. They were just focused on the Premier
League.
Premier League. So if you want to judge him based on that, I think you are not being fair. You are not going to be fair. Let's leave him now. They are in Champions League and they will play other domestic leagues and all that. So let's watch before this season goes midway.
Okay,
we know if he is going to do better or not, because by the time you have pressures from
everywhere,
traveling and all that, they were not actually traveling.
They were just within
England. So now that they will be traveling, fatigue will come in and all that. So let's see how far the team will go. And let's see if actually the magic he did within the last few.
You seem not to have any belief on Michael Carrick. No, because I recall having this conversation, off camera. We you just be like, I beg you. Which kind of talk with that? Like, everything starts in a day. Several managers have come and gone, but here's Michael Carrick cutting it. Come on. Well,
no, at times these things, there is how the team spirit works.
Yeah.
Whenever there is a new sheriff in town, you see how every player want to make sure you become you're in the good books of the coach. You understand? So let's see now that he's given the job
on a permanent basis.
Let's see how it goes. By August, the season will commence, and
enough again.
Enough. It's not too far. So
okay.
Within that August, by the time they will play the next 5 matches, we can now see how far the team, if they will go do better than where they were last season.
Okay, interesting. Okay, now let's look at result from games played across different centers after not different centers, just one center last night at the ongoing FIFA World Cup in USA, Mexico and Canada. We saw a quarter-final match. It was indeed a cagey game. Spain booked a blockbuster semi-final meeting, with France after beating Belgium by 2-1, thanks to a last gasp Mikel Merino. A last gasp specialist, Mikel Merino in Los Angeles. Smart is all smiles because Mikel Merino is of Arsenal. The substitute arrived in the 88th minute to pounce on an error from standing goalkeeper Senne Lemens, who plays for Manchester United, who was a late introduction himself after an emotional Thibaut Courtois was forced off injured, turning home the rebound from Pau Kubarasi's optimistic strike. The moment was as excruciating for Lamens as it was, exhilarating for Merino. Coming on clutch again after, also delivering a late winner in victory over Portugal in the last round, the round of 16. He had only been on the pitch for 117 seconds, scoring with just his first touch of that very encounter. Spain had been breached for the first time at this World Cup in the first half when makeshift number 9 Charles de Catalare headed Timothy Castagne's teasing. It was a teasing cross beyond Unai Simon to cancel out a well-worked opener from Fabian Ruiz. Of course, for what is what, Luis de la Fuente's side, were not to be denied. Merino, so often Arsenal's saviour, refusing to stand down for club and country, he continues to offer solution in big moments. Smart, his only touch in the Belgian box, resulting in the decisive goal. Spain remain unbeaten since March 2023, a remarkable streak of 36 matches, and will play tournament favourite France in a tantalizing tie in Texas on Tuesday next week for the right to the final of this edition of the World Cup. De La Fuente's side, are looking forward to that very one. De La Fuente himself has now managed more games at major tournaments without losing than any other international manager. 13 games precisely. That's a remarkable one. And for the Spanish side, La Roja, it was a good outing against the Belgian side. I saw that. Come on, that goal Smart was, I don't know, Sene Lemens. What was that? A schoolboy error. Some goalkeepers, they lack grip. Some have grip but do not have reflex. Some have got reflex but do not have the grip. But for some, they lack both grip and reflex. For Sene Lemens, I don't know what went wrong. But all he needed to do was, it was a direct ball. Like, not be saying a serious shot. A direct ball. It just, and it took a lot of time to get up his feet to get back the ball. It's really disappointing at this point in time. What happens to be Kevin De Bruyne's last FIFA World Cup? What do you make of that outing against Belgium?
Well, things like this happen. You can't predict. You understand? If there are no mistakes in the game, you can't actually have winners. At this stage, there are these little things that changes game. You understand? And there are moments like this. That's confident.
So the goalkeeper is not to be blamed?
That's the game for you. That's football. Surprises comes in when you less expect. You understand? That is what makes it interesting. That's what makes football interesting.
So, but then now they got France to worry about in the last four, the semi-finals. And the last time they met in a major tournament was in the Euros, Euros 2024, wasn't it? They came up top. They they knocked out France in the semi-finals, at the semi-finals of that very tournament, that championship, European Championship. And for France, they've made it to back-to-back FIFA World Cup finals. 2018, they were champions. They won the World Cup. 2022 in Qatar, they got to the final. They lost eventually to Argentina. So this time around, they are in the semi-finals, and they are known for always making it to the latter stages of major tournaments, if not reaching the final. What's it like for Spain this time around?
Well, at this point in time, they are yet unbeaten in the World Cup, and looking at their performance between them and Belgium, you can see the ball possession. They had 68% of the ball possession, which tells you they were really in control of that game. And coming to France, it's going to be a cracker. But then, since they have the wonder boy there, our own Mikel Merino changes the game. He did it against Portugal, and he did it against Belgium.
What's all of this?
You're going to see him do it.
Why do I feel like you're being proud?
It's not a matter of being proud. When somebody is good,
I don't understand.
And these
are the issues. These are the issues now.
He always do it in Arsenal. So I'm not surprised. That is
When he said Wonder Boy, I was expecting to hear Ilami Yamal, for instance, and then boom, Mikel Merino.
For now, who does the magic? Who does the magic?
These are the issues.
He has done it twice. Coming
Against
from
Portugal,
the bench,
last 16.
coming from the bench
yeah.
to do it twice. Doesn't that tells you anything?
The only thing it tells me is that I think they carry your shoulder. Our pride won't finish you. I beg you. I mean, what's all of this?
No, let's enjoy it while it lasts.
Interesting times, but it's a good thing Mikel Merino is having a great time at the FIFA World Cup already. Not a regular, but then he comes off the bench to do the magic. All right, perform magic for La Roja of Spain. Yeah, so that's interesting times. We're looking forward to what he's got in store and what the Spanish national team has got in store going into their game against France. Okay, now let's talk about another game that will be seen in the early hours of Sunday. All right, 2 a.m. Nigerian time, same time the UK. Meanwhile, before then, just for the records, I think first off we need to talk about let's first off talk about England against Norway, because I'm itching to talk about Lionel Messi, top scorer, joint top scorer with Mbappe at the ongoing FIFA World Cup. But then before then, let's talk about the Three Lions of England. They'll be in action. The Three Lions will be in action. They got lots of issues right now. I mean, it's not what you want, but then they just can't help it. All right. Now, England got into the World Cup as one of the favorite teams, regarded as one of the favorites going into the World Cup, and for real, they are really one of the favorites, even as it stands. So now, the Three Lions will meet Norway in a high-stakes quarter-final match with a place in the semi-finals on the line. The winner will face either Argentina or Switzerland in the next round of the tournament. Of course, for England, they arrive after a dramatic 3-2 victory over Mexico in the round of 16. Harry Kane has been in outstanding form, while Jude Bellingham continues to be a major, creative and goal-scoring threat. Coach Thomas Tuchel has confirmed that England have got a nearly full-strength squad, although defender Jarrell Kwanzaa is suspended. So Norway are enjoying one of the best World Cup campaigns in their history after eliminating Brazil by 2-1. Erling Braut Haaland has been tournament's standout striker, for the side, scoring consistently, while Martin Odegaard has controlled games from midfield. And Norway will look to stay compact and attack quickly through Haaland and their wide players. When I made mention of Martin Odegaard, you'd be like, that's another Arsenal player.
Our product. And they are giving us some tips
of what
that will be coming in the next
season. What tips?
You can see how Odegaard has carried Norway. You can see his touches on the ball. That is my fear for England anyway, because I'm afraid of England defense.
Okay.
Defensively, they are not clinical, and that is why I want to feel and I believe that with Haaland, Odegaard giving him those supplies is going to kill the game.
So, let's now talk about some of the key battles. The spotlight will be on Harry Kane versus Erling Braut Haaland, with two of the world's top forwards, leading their nations. Martin Odegaard would control the midfield, but then he's got Jude Bellingham to contend with. These guys could be really decisive, or would be really decisive, in this very encounter. They'll play key roles. So this match is expected to be one of the closest quarterfinal matches, of the tournament. When you look at the players involved, the positions, and what's at stake, many analysts give England a slight edge, but Norway have already shown they can upset the favorites. Can they pull that upset against the Three Lions of England? Because you look at England on paper, they're the better of the two going into the game. What's it like for you?
Just like what I said earlier, England defensively,
Yeah.
they are poor.
Mm.
And when you look at the attack,
Mm.
with Haaland leading the attack,
Mm.
Odegaard, the midfield maestro,
Mm.
is done.
But talk about England. In midfield, several quality players. Morgan Rogers, you mentioned Jude Bellingham, several. Going forward, they have a couple of players that could also decide games. Even Bukayo Saka, fitness level, but he's in a conversation, right? You got guys like, you talk about guys like Noni, yeah? You talk about Marcus Rashford, Harry Kane. These are all proven players that, when it gets to the crunch, they don't crumble, they rather deliver. So for you, where would the game be won? Is it the attack, Harry Kane, Erling Braut Haaland, or would it be the midfield?
It's going to be won at the midfield.
Mm.
It's going to be won at the midfield because, Odegaard, every game, he increases his pace at every game. And when you see him in that midfield, what he does, at least for now, you can see that his form has improved drastically from the last season with Arsenal. In this World Cup, you see him giving some, deadly and tactical passes. Against the game with Brazil,
Yeah.
you see his impact, what he did and how the goals came.
Yeah.
So I give it to Norway.
You see a Norway win.
Yes.
Against England.
Yes.
Interesting. That's absolutely
Not because of Odegaard, because if you look at England, you also have Arsenal players there like Saka, Rice is there, Noni Madueke is there, but with what Norway is doing. With what Norway is doing, you can see the improvements from every game.
Okay.
They keep improving and all that. So I see Norway taking the day.
Oh well, Thomas Tuchel, head coach of England, has claimed that the Three Lions have not been offered an explanation as to why Gerald Quansah was handed a 2-game suspension following his red card against Mexico. Quansah was shown a straight red card after a video assistant referee early in the second period at the Azteca Stadium, for an ankle-high challenge on Jesus Gallardo. While dismissals of this nature usually carry a 1-game ban, it was upgraded to 2 as a result of the challenge being considered serious foul, quote-unquote. And Tuchel was critical of the official, post-match, claiming that the referee are just not good enough. The upgraded ban also comes at a time when FIFA is under fire after suspending United States forward Folarin Balogun's 1-game ban for a year after his sending off against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Balogun was subsequently cleared to play in that 4-1 defeat to Belgium. There had been some suggestion that Thomas Tuchel's comments on officials may have been a factor in the decision to extend Quansah's ban, but the German revealed he's not been given any reason, why that was the case. They got some injury concerns, I tell you, for that's England, but then it's some sort of good news for the Three Lions of England because Declan Rice, McGay, and Reece James gradually getting into the right rhythm. Yeah, they've given England a triple injury boost ahead of their 2026 World Cup quarter-final match against Norway. So, Rice has been struggling with illness after Monday's last 16 win in Mexico and has been kept away from teammates, while McGay missed England's training session in Kansas City on Thursday with concerns emerging about a hamstring injury. However, both players took part in training in Miami on Friday ahead of today's showdown with Norway in the city. Of course, James also took part in the training session, his first since sustaining hamstring injury during England's second group stage game against Ghana. However, head coach Thomas Tuchel revealed that all 3 were available for selection for Saturday. Jordan Henderson, who broke his wrist and arm. Amid the celebration of that win over Mexico, was the only player from the 26-man squad to miss the training session. The aforementioned Kwanzaa will also be unavailable to face Norway after being handed a 2-game ban for his red card in the last match. Interestingly, let's we can't really go further, but Smart, before we leave here, let's quickly talk about Argentina. All right, so they'll be in action. They got Switzerland to worry about in the early hours of Sunday. That's Nigerian time, 2 a.m. What do you make of that encounter? They've been quite, would I say, lucky in terms of their groupings. All right, they've not really faced really stiff opponents like Spain or France. So far the World Cup. Switzerland, what's it like? Can the Swiss side, led by Granit Xhaka, get the job done? Alexander Isak is right there. He's a Swiss guy, yeah. So what's it like going into that very encounter?
Well, looking at this match on paper, we are going to give it to Argentina without missing words. But football is not played on paper. It's played on the field. 90 minutes is going to decide. But I still want to believe that Argentina will, with Messi and his magic will always come up tops.
Okay,
but it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be that easy.
Okay, all right. Argentina have looked dangerous, quite dangerous, I tell you, for the most part, going forward throughout the knockout stage of the tournament, edging Cape Verde 3-2 before. If you look at the knockout stages, they've been brilliant. 3-2 against Cape Verde, and then they came from behind against Egypt, the Pharaohs of Egypt, nicking that very one 3-2. Their attacking quality has been absolutely evident, and so they're the better of the two. But defensive lapses could be an area of concern against a disciplined opposition. Switzerland arrived full of confidence after eliminating Colombia, in a dramatic penalty shootout following a goalless draw. Their defensive organization and composure under pressure have been standout features, making them a difficult side to break down. But the question is, will Argentina get it right once again? Or will it be an upset at the end of it all? Will it be W Argentina in the chart, or an L in the chart, or possibly W Switzerland in the chart? That's one question that really needs answers. All right, we can't go any further, Smart. Been a great time with you right here on Sports 360. We hope to do this some other time. And then I'm wishing you and the rest of your Arsenal players the best at the ongoing FIFA World Cup.
We are champions. I hope you know that.
You're champions?
Champions of England.
But are you champions of Europe? I hear you will never say that. Champions of Europe, you'll never say that song.
Don't worry, we are coming.
I hear that a lot.
We are coming.
I hear that a lot, I hear that a lot. All right, so where are you coming? Coming to where now?
We are coming to America. We are coming to be champions.
Coming to America. It's the World Cup.
Whatever you say, but I know Arsenal this season. We're going to. You know where we stopped?
I beg, we don't know.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you very much, Smart.
Thank you.
Okay, so a big shout to you out there, and I tell you for free, you are the real MVP. I meant that name, the voice you trust and that mayor you probably need. Who read? They serious, but now who pass? Now he no book. For now, adios.
And now, time to talk sports matters on CEMTV. Stay with us.
Sensational, absolutely sensational, sensational. And Stadium is wrong. The All Blacks press forward with a driving run. White 5 for 3, it's good. A huge shot. The puck drops in this gold medal game.